Alright, as you can probably tell from the title of this video, we're going to be cleaning the intake valves on my MK5 GTI. I actually already did that about a month ago, so I'll give you guys my thoughts at the end of this video. But for now, let's just get right into the video. It's going to be not a very in-depth video. If you want an in-depth video on cleaning the intake valves, there are many other videos out there that are way longer, way more in-depth than this one. My aim with this video is basically just to show you random little unexpected things that I noticed along the way, some tips and tricks. This is kind of a supplement to if you already know the general idea of the procedure. Essentially all there is to it is take everything off of the intake that's in the way and then remove the intake bolts and yoink it off. That's all there is to it, essentially. But there are a couple little things that I didn't expect and I ran into along the way, so I'll cover those here in this video and then give you my thoughts on the whole process at the end. Okay, so one random thing that I've discovered so far is that ironically, the easiest bolt to see on the throttle body is the hardest one to get out because this AC compressor line is in the way. All the other bolts are, you have to get them out by feel, but there's actually a decent amount of space to, fit your hand under here and turn something around to get that out. But this guy, there's like an inch of space here, so to get that out is kind of a pain. All right, 3 quick tips here as I'm taking this apart that I've run into. First of all, when you're taking screws, bolts out, put as many of them back in their threads as you possibly can as you're going along, just a little bit like this. That way you don't lose them. And that brings me down to the next one. This, the dipstick, there's kind of a stud that it goes onto. This stud unscrews from the intake and it holds the dipstick on. So you're going to want to take that out. There's kind of like a little bit of a hex head on the end of the stud, so you can put like pliers on it or something and twist it out. It's usually not very tight. And then you can get the dipstick out. The dipstick kind of just wiggles and then pops it off of here. Should give you a lot more space. And then also these fuel lines, they come across the intake and then connect up under here. They're actually a major pain to get off. You need a 17 mil wrench to get the barb off here. And then under here, that same line connects with another 17 mil up here. And then one of the smaller lines connects with a 14 mil right there. At least I found with the 17 mil on this side. I started wrenching from the top up here and then kind of alternating between the top and the bottom very, very slowly, and then finger loosen it the rest of the way. Same for that. And then over here it connects with a little hose clamp. That would be the pipe that is 14 mil. There's several hoses over here as well. This is the 3rd or 4th tip, I guess. I just thought of this. You're just gonna have to cut the clamps off. It's these annoying crimp type clamps. So you're just gonna have to cut these off. There's like this whole PCV vacuum contraption here that connects here. Cut that clamp off, it gets out of the way, it makes it way easier to take the fuel lines off. Okay, another ironic tip. The Satan bolt that everybody complains about is not very hard to get out. If you happen to have a triple square bit like this, I think I got these from AutoZone or O'Reilly or something like that. Not expensive at all, but you do this and a 13 millimeter open end wrench. This puppy sticks right in there. You kind of have to stick your hand under this pipe to get it into the bolt, but it fits right in there really perfect. And then the wrench, you can stick it on the bit and twist this bolt off super easily. Like, this is probably so far, ironically, the easiest part for me when everybody complains about it being the very, very hardest, most difficult part. Yeah, so the more you know, I guess. All right, as you can see, it is all put back together and good to go. The valves are much, much cleaner than they were before I started 6.5 hours ago. But yeah, it's all good to go. I forgot to record putting it back together, but the only 2 things that were harder than I expected were one of the intake manifold mounting bolts, actually the lower right one, was much harder to put in than I was expecting. But I think that came down to my just lack of a long Torx bit. With a long Torx bit, I think this would be really, really easy, really fast putting the intake bolts on. But anyway, that was hard. And then the charge pipe from the throttle body to the intercooler, that was much harder to put on than I was expecting. But eventually I figured out in the end that if you leave the bottom disconnected, let it kind of hang down a little bit, then getting the top on, the top part of the pipe on the throttle body, and sliding the mount onto this stud here, it becomes much easier. So put the top on first, then the stud mount, and then the bottom and the bolt that's down there. But anyway, that's pretty much all there is to it. That's all the advice I'd say for putting it back together. If you could figure out how to take it apart, then getting it back together is not going to be too big of an issue. But yeah, I'm going to start up here in a little bit and see how it runs. See if it starts up any better, runs smoother, anything like that. And I'll drive it for a week or something like that and give you guys a report on the fuel economy change. Right now it's probably getting about 25 to 26 miles to the gallon on average. That's like almost all highway miles. But anyway, we'll see what it looks like in a week. Okay, I didn't like that, but that kind of makes sense because there was no fuel in it. So, all right, I let it run for a couple minutes just to see if there's any leaks, and I look really closely, don't see any leaks from the fuel rail or anything like that. No check engine lights or anything like that, so I don't think I forgot any cables, but apparently I did forget to tighten that one screw, so I'm gonna tighten that up, and then we should be all good to go. Okay, so here's my thoughts on the results. I don't think it made much of a difference, which makes sense because my car was running perfectly fine beforehand and the valves weren't caked up as dirty as some that I've seen online. So, you know, there really wasn't much improvement to be made anyway, so I'm not really surprised that it didn't make much of a difference. I didn't really notice any difference with fuel economy. I didn't really notice any difference or improvement on performance. It's pretty much the same. As far as fuel economy goes, temperature has such a huge impact on the fuel economy here that even if clean intake valves did improve fuel economy, I don't think I would have noticed it. So yeah, I really didn't notice much of a difference here, but I essentially view this process of clean the intake valves as preventative maintenance. That's essentially all it accomplished. It didn't really change anything at all on the car. So, you know, I think it was still worth it. In hindsight, I don't think I would have bought the walnut shell blasting kit because the air compressor and shop vac that I had really weren't powerful enough to make full use of the kit. If I had a more powerful air compressor and a more powerful shop vac, I think I probably could have made more use of the kit and it probably would have given me better results, but I didn't. So in hindsight, I should have just stuck with picks and some intake valve cleaning solution. That would have gotten like the same results for a fraction of the cost. So yeah, that's my hot take on the walnut shell blasting kit. I don't think it's worth it unless you have really good air compressor and excuse me, a really good air compressor and really good shop vac. That's all there is to it. But yeah, I hope this video was useful. The little things I noticed along the way that are unexpected, I hope those helped you as well. I hope it was maybe just even a little bit entertaining if it wasn't useful. But yeah, there's lots more videos to come in the series. This car has a lot of little things that can be improved or maintained. It's a Volkswagen, so there's constantly things breaking on it and in need of maintenance. But anyway, lots more to come in the series, so stay tuned for the next one.